Welcome to the Business Services Café by ABSL, powered by Brandfizz. I'm Anita Zvezdovics, and I will be your host for this recharging coffee break. We are here to bring the thriving business services sector closer to you with freshly brewed insights, also some espresso shots featuring the most influential trends, and also a sip of advice for takeaway. In each episode, we sit down with the top leaders of the industry to explore some energizing topics. And today's guest is Norbert Makk, who is the Managing Director of Unisys Solutions Center. Very warm welcome. And our topic will be today flexibility, home office, which I think is a very important topic in the business services sector. So I invite the audience to grab your favorite cup of coffee, join us as we are blending in the industry insights, and we talk a little bit more about home office and flexibility. So get to know you better and bring you closer to the audience. We would have some warm-up questions and, of course, related to coffee. How do you typically drink your coffee?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. Mm-hmm. From the drinking habits of mine, it really depends on the day and also on the activity I plan for the day. But normally, the normal schedule is really starting with an espresso in the morning.
Okay. And I guess you have some coffee meetings as well. And what are the your coffee meetings mostly about?
Coffee meetings are definitely about that specific topic, which we agree before. So it is not really predefined because otherwise you are really sticking the discussion to one particular element. It is more really a free talk. Mm-hmm. Before we get into the details.
And what experiences have helped you to brew success in your career?
First of all, when I look at that 20 plus years in this industry, I believe when you are making a bold step, which you don't think necessarily you are capable of, and jump into the unknown, I would say. So that is something that always fascinated me. How to get to the next level where you do not know every detail of your next environment. Mm-hmm.
And what are your barista level skills?
Yeah, so I'm really a big coffee drinker, so that's also a disadvantage sometimes because I have my own standards in coffee. If I reflect that to the work environment, that's probably you can put a parallel into there as well. So if you ask me, I think quality of the work and attention to detail is something which is part of my barista skills. Mm-hmm.
Let's go into the brewed insights regarding the flexibility and the home office. And probably it's going to be a bit of a provoking first question. I would be really interested, what do you think about that? Is the flexibility in the business services sector, it's a privilege or it's already a must-have and a necessity in the today's job market?
As we are talking about coffee, the blend coffee is something which is, giving you a special taste. Mm-hmm. And from this perspective, when you look at these kind of perks at the office environment, definitely there is a part which is a necessity because everyone is doing it. And in the industry, if you are not following the market, then you are lagging behind. However, you can define some kind of job market differentiators, that is what I would call them, and then drive into that direction and give or build up on this general level and make some specialties for your specific company. For us, in my current position, that is to do with the career. Mm-hmm. How you step into the next level, what is that kind of ecosystem in the company where you can find your way forward. Mm-hmm.
And the flexibility and the home office, is it a freedom or it's an isolation? When you see your people, what is the experience around it?
I strongly believe in the culture of the company itself, and how you can build a culture is really depending on the interaction of the people. You can have interaction of people, of course, also remotely, and we have a lot of tools around that, which is enabling that. And since the remote work became really trendy, the video conferencing and all those standards are really default, I would say. But you need to really pay attention not to have the other side of that coin, which is the isolation, as you mentioned. So therefore, we are paying really good attention on how to bring people together. And obviously, it had some stages when we moved back to the office, like getting together sessions first, outside of the office, and later on, it became really a habit to have a specific day. It's every week, but we don't know the day, so it's a random day, and that is where we prepare something in the office. So that's kind of to break this isolation type of attitude of our people, and bring them closer together based on these events.
When you think of from the employee perspective, you mentioned very valid examples that bringing people together, it's helping also to socialize and rebond, and then after that return. And the freedom and the flexibility combined with belonging somewhere and the culture. So this aspect, I think it's very understandable. But how do you see that this balance in the flexibility in an industry, which is the business service sector, where we have to really focus on maintaining the high quality service? It's many times 24/7 coverage. How is it manageable with so much freedom?
Yeah. One item first I wanted to highlight is that we've never seen any drop of quality. We've never seen any drop of productivity due to remote work. So actually that was not a concern for us at all during this, reinforced hybrid work. You touched upon a very interesting topic actually, and that is, I think, the attitude that from the company perspective, that one size does not fit all. And that is, I think, the key of the flexibility itself. So we try to build a framework for the company, which is solid and fixed, but within that framework, there is a flexibility for everyone. Depending on the personal situation of someone. So if you have a small kid at home, you have another type of framework or set of rules for getting into the office, for example. It's just one example, but also distance plays a role in here. Just to get back to your original question, the quality part and productivity part was never a concern. It was more from my side a concern around culture and how we keep the team as a team together with the team spirit. And therefore we were really focusing on that to bring people together, also the ones who are really living far from the office, and then organizing events where they can join the team, like bigger company events twice or three times a year, where the whole team can be together.
And what's the approach? The standardization or like policies, they should be company level or more like a little bit focusing on the teams. What are the good models that you see that how this freedom can be still structured?
Yeah, so there are lots of trends, I think, also on worldwide level, which are influencing not only the public sector, but also the companies. How to deal with that is kind of referring back to the previous question, right? So what are the frameworks you define for a company? And if there's any central wish within a company that this is our culture, we decide this way. And then, of course, find your specific flexibility within that. But it's a decision, right? So, and there are some companies, I think, which are deciding on, let's say, a full remote type of environment. And that is absolutely justifiable if the workload and the specific activity they are driving is justifying that. However, if you are in specific, coming back to our industry, I think it's really important that people are interacting with each other in person. So that's our belief, and that is what we want to convey as a message to our employees as well through our culture.
I was also reading about this, that these micro moments which are happening when there is an interaction and it's not planned, it's not necessarily, okay, it's a brainstorming session or it's a meeting about a certain topic, but like the casual interactions, they are kind of the birthplace of innovation or new ideas, exchanging knowledge between people, because we can't organize and standardize everything. So also the sense of belonging, the culture, and also I think the knowledge share is happening more naturally when there is personal touch.
And one layer to add to that is how that is happening on a kind of a biological level, actually. Because when you are meeting someone in person, there are different hormones and other elements in your body which are activated compared to if you are, let's say, in a Zoom call or a Teams call.
Screen,
So that's absolutely a big difference. So there are some science behind this as well.
And how you see at Unisys flexibility and home office opportunities, is it still valued, or it's like kind of like, okay, it's a trend, everybody is doing it? From the employee perspective, is it valued?
Absolutely, yes. So that is.
So it hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't changed at all. We are having continuous surveys from associate perspective. That is really a repeated message. We are actually maintaining a hybrid setup, so it means 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. So that is our framework I was referring back to. And of course, there could be deviations based on your specific situation. But that's kind of the basic rule. And people are getting into how to arrange life based on this. And I think this is getting as a new standard.
I think you referred to it already, that maintaining the strong company culture, it requires extra attention because it's not naturally happening.
Yes.
It's not something just gonna be there, but remotely working teams, many times in this sector, different time zones for different focus areas, very diverse. And how do you maintain the company culture? What do you see that works?
We had actually a big boost in company culture just after we introduced this framework of hybrid model, because there was a central initiative, a central effort from the company that was focusing on our core values. There was a huge global survey on what makes Unisys Unisys. So what is our deepest belief? What are our real values across the company, really globally? And there was a distilled thinking from that, and we were building up, we called it the Winning Culture Project globally. And that entailed a lot of smaller actions, getting togethers, and also global initiatives across the company. And we were distilling into 4 specific behaviors in the company, and that drives our culture on a daily basis now. So it was kind of a gene surgery as well, approach to build it into everything we do. And that's how we explore, that's how we experiment, that's how we act with agility, and how we take ownership. So those are the 4 elements actually. And every team and every activity within a team could be associated with one of these behaviors. And that was kind of a common language in the whole company. And if you were talking about global teams across continents, that brings you onto the same company culture level. You know what the other one is talking about. So I think that was an important element.
And this also had an impact, or this is continuously having an impact on the strong company culture, although the teams are working remotely and in different times.
I think before this project there was a strong company culture as well, but this was just forming it into kind of a standard approach across the globe.
And when we talk about flexibility, home office, isolation, interaction, all of this, I think we can't skip the topic of well-being at work, because this is also very directly connected. What are the best practices, or what is close to you, what do you value related to support in mental health?
Yeah, when you look at the world in general, if you open any news portal, I think that's evident that the VUCA kind of effect you have if you read the news. A lot of people don't read the news anymore, to be honest. But if you read the news, then you get really this kind of stress all the day. So therefore, I think it was very important for us as an initiative to introduce an employee assistance program. That's also a global one, but here in Hungary, you can dial a number, talk to a Hungarian psychologist if you have issues. So I think that kind of safety net for the people is very important. It's there in everyone's folder, which number to call if you need help, and it can be financial help, can be psychological, and any kind of issue you have in life. It's not necessarily your leader. Of course, your leader is always there, but probably you need a third party voice sometimes and objective view what's happening. So that's number one. The second is kind of more related to the in-office activities I already mentioned, when we are getting people together, and it's really fun throughout the year. Actually, we plan a year ahead what are the seasonal topics or specific occasions within the company. Like we had our 150-year anniversary of Unisys, because actually Unisys was, if you go back really to the roots, was founded when Budapest was founded. So that's a very nice coincidence. So 1873, so that's the same year. And we had an occasion and also culture building around that theme in 2023. So that was an important element for us.
It's really good what you said, that like the world is full of dangers, and then somehow the employer is becoming a safety net and like some stability or some like support system around. I really like this idea of the employee assistant program, because you can't all the time be there, but when in need, then there is opportunity and there is support provided. I think it's outstanding. And regarding the office comebacks, and I think that's very much real, like, okay, how to convince the employees to come back to the office, because we see that it's needed. We talked about it, why it's needed. And when there are other maybe center leaders also who are listening to this episode, I think they are also interested in best practices. How do you see, what makes people come back to the office?
It's the donuts.
Okay, it's the donuts, all right.
I'm kidding actually, but when we are recording this, then it's still kind of the donut season we are in. And yesterday we just had a donut day. But I'm more referring to these type of events when you have something in the office, you are at home and you see the other colleagues, you see the chats, you see the posts, something is happening in the office. So that kind of feeling of missing out, like the FOMO effect. I think that is a very strong and sometimes underestimated force. Which is bringing you, not as an outward force, but you just want to be part of it.
Yeah, you want to be part of it. Yeah. You don't want to miss it. Fear of missing out, I really like it. And the advice to the leaders is that this successful, flexible working model was the right approach to it, based on what we also discussed already in today's episode. What is the advice you want to pass on?
Yeah, I think that's very important, that the associate and the leader should have a common understanding of what is needed for the person to be able to flourish in the role. That is what we always encouraged leaders to do, also through the one-on-ones, through the career discussions and everything they interact through on any levels of their career. But there is one important element, that there should be kind of a common decision, and there should be empowerment of the leader to make some decisions as well regarding flexibility specifically. Okay. So if there is a common understanding that I cannot do it, then there is a way for the leader to make exceptions, to do something else, to arrange it in a way that it is not hurting anybody else, but it is acceptable for the associate and the manager.
So there is framework, but there should be empowerment also for the
I think that's key for that type of empowerment of the leaders.
I think now we will have a little bit of, as you like also the coffee, the espresso shots. What's your favorite part of the week?
My favorite part of the week is the morning.
Okay.
Every morning, actually. You plan the day, you have your first coffee, you have full of energy for the day, and you have full of possibilities for that day. And of course, you need to reflect that back in the evening, but the favorite part is the morning.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about the flexibility?
That it is an unrestricted kind of being free and do whatever you want. I don't think that flexibility is that. Flexibility is a bit similar to what I just mentioned on a common agreement between a leader and associate. It is a common agreement or kind of a social contract of a caring employer and the associates. That is where we need to have, and we have a belief, and we have a culture we want to convey also as a message to everyone, but the people need to vote into it, but also be in agreement to have that as a flexible framework. So it's not just everyone does whatever they want, it needs to be kind of a common way forward.
Describe your perfect day in 3 words.
Perfect day in 3 words is planning, checking, and executing. That's pretty much...
pretty efficient.
Pretty efficient way.
Pretty espresso style. And what are your personal best practices?
I don't know if you know, or the ones who are listening to this know this series on one of the streaming channels, which is called Severance. There is a specific switch. If you get into the elevator and get to work, there's a switch in your head and you forget everything about the outside world. And you just get into an inside of your kind of workplace, and vice versa. So when you go out, you forget work. I do not think that this is the right way, right? Because that's kind of really a split, and that makes 2 of you. So again, it's a social contract with yourself, you know, how to balance work and how to balance life. But my personal best practice is I live around 40 minutes from the office, actually. So that's my elevator time. Not in the sense of that series, but just to have enough time for me to switch back to family, not forgetting everything, but at least to have the focus at home.
What you hope that the audience will apply and can take away?
So I hope that my message was audible around the framework itself. This whole flexibility thing is not for itself, not for the individual just to do whatever the individual wants, and not for the company to, I don't know, save on office costs, for example. But it is a common interest of everyone to make the best out of all of us.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and bringing closer to the audience this topic. That wraps up today's episode at the Business Services Café. Big thanks for Norbert, and huge impact on this sector, I think, whoever listens. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more expert conversations. And thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Thank you very much.